Okay, this is a video response to Gemni686. I'm sorry, 686. Regarding the WWE wrestling belts and how to make the metal plates. More than likely, for commercial production for these plates, they are made using a laser cutter. And laser cutters are very expensive when you're working with metal. The cutouts for the belts, for the emblems, like you see with the letters and such, are probably done this way also. And it's possible that the engraving that you see on the belts is also done with a laser cutter or some form thereof. The other way that the engraving or the relief that you see on the belt buckle would be done by stamping a template from the reverse side into the metal. And that template would probably be steel or something like that. Something harder than whatever metal that they're working with. The other consideration that you have to take into account is what kind of metal are you going to be working with. I know those replica ones are either plastic or they're some sort of brass that has got some sort of crazy coating on it. But if you're looking at doing this in actual metal, you need to consider what sort of metal you're doing it. Brass would yield you that goldish sort of color. Nickel is a dull silvery color. Copper, everyone knows what copper looks like. It's kind of that reddish pink color until it gets a natural patina and then it turns brown. If you wanted to go all the way, you would go with gold-plated sterling silver, but that's going to be very expensive and you'd have to take it to a professional to get it gold-plated. Sterling silver right now is probably at around, I think the last time I checked it was 13 something an ounce, and an ounce is probably about that much silver. Not very much. An ounce consists of 31, a troy ounce, and metal weight consists of 31.1 grams. Not a whole lot. So you'd probably want to work in brass. That would give you the color you're wanting. And if you want to do it the old school way, you need a jeweler's saw. And you need to map out your template, what you want the shape of the outside metal to be, where you want the cutout letters to be, and you need to go in there with a jeweler's saw. You have to have a drill press, you have to drill into the metal, put your jeweler's saw in there, and saw out pieces of metal. Not a really easy way to do things. The other process with the old school process is if you're doing it that way, the relief design that you're wanting on the plate of metal would require you to etch, and the process of etching uses acids. So like with copper and brass, you would use ferric chloride. Again, you have to take the usual safety precautions. You need goggles, you need chemical gloves, you need a chemical vest, you need a ventilated area, you need baking soda as a neutralizer, and if you're doing silver, you etch a nitric acid, which is a lot stronger than ferric chloride acid, and you don't want to mess with that stuff. It's kind of crazy unless you have the right equipment. The easiest way that I can think of for you to go about this right now as a craftsman, as a hobbyist, on the side job, is casting something. The easiest way to do that is taking your replica belts that you've got and pulling off the plates that are on them and taking it to a local foundry where they do metal work and have them cast it for you in bronze. Now bronze is kind of, depending on what kind of bronze you use, it can range anywhere from a dark brown color to kind of a golden umber sort of color. Of course, it's going to cost you money if you take it to a foundry and have them cast that piece, but it's a lot easier. And unless you have a centrifugal casting machine of your own, and a kiln for a burnout process, and an acetylene torch to molten the metal, you're not going to get it done that way. Your other option is to, if you don't want to destroy the original belts, or the replica belts, is to create your own belt buckles out of wax, and carve them out of wax, and then take them to a foundry and have them cast. Not as easy as you think it would be. Probably not what you want to hear, but based off of what I know as a metal worker, those are your options. And if you have any more questions, you know where to reach me. I'm on here. So I hope that helps you out any, and good luck with your project.